I'm going live now. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Adibale, you can go ahead.
All right. Good evening, our dear educators and the school owners. Everywhere you are privileged to have access to this webinar, we say thank you for joining us. This is EAZY-DIGI EdTech Solutions. We are delighted to bring to your notice different educational technological tools to enhance e-learning across the world. And today, we are having a special session on affordable blended learning models for schools. Affordable blended learning models for schools. And we have our panelists on board to uh, expose us to certain areas that we need to work with for us to have a productive outcome. Uh, you will all believe with me the fact that our educational system is gradually embracing, or I should say, increasingly embracing distance learning. So, in view of this, there is need to subject both teachers and learners to blended learning models for easy transfer of learning at this unpredictable state of the nation. So, if we cannot go back to the former traditional teaching and learning, I mean, the former traditional teaching and learning pattern, then we have to embrace the new normal approach. Hence, the need for this special webinar, which is also targeting the affordability of the tools needed for productive outcome. I want to welcome on board uh, our panelists. Uh, we have three panelists for this session. Mr. Adebayo Alomaja, who is the head of research and operations, EAZY-DIGI EdTech Solutions. We have Mr. Olani Koforola, is an education consultant based in Turkey. And we also have Mrs. Theresa Meyers, is also an education consultant from the United Arab Emirates. And our focus on this session includes understanding the concept of blended learning as a third generation of remote learning and the future of education, the benefits of blended learning and the challenges of blended learning and the solution. Join me as I invite our first speaker in person of Mr. Adebayo Alomaja. You are welcome, sir.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Adibale.
You are welcome, sir.
I'd like to, so once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to all our viewers, for as many that are watching us now on YouTube. Thank you for joining us for this evening webinar. So it's just a time out for us to discuss on the learning and some of the things that are involved. So right now we find out that in our community, in our education community, there's a lot of change in the atmosphere. There's a lot of change. We understand that the state government is putting up a lot of things
Of
to
course.
inside schools, ready man, all of that and everything. And then and talking about the practical approach, putting the solution in a practical way is very important for many schools to understand the fact that this is a change that has come to stay. Learning will no longer be the way it used to be. You must have been hearing this every now and then, every now and then. Learning truly will not be the way it used to be anymore. And that is why the idea of blended learning is coming in right now. Well, it's not a new thing. It's even before the pandemic. Blended learning has been the system in several countries. All right,
Of
and that is
course.
why they produce learners that are very creative. That is why they produce learners that are very exposed to technology and that do a lot with technology. And that is why they produce learners that have a lot of skills that enables them to create a whole lot of things, even while they're yet young. Do you understand? So learning is a system that has been before the pandemic, and that will always be even after the pandemic, as we We hope that the pandemic will not stay forever, And then, in summary, I will just say that blended learning is a learning system that involves the face-to-face physical interaction, the F2F, and also the online and the virtual learning system. All right. When you talk about combining physical learning with online learning, that's the idea of blended learning. However, it comes in there are several, blended learning models that we have. But we are trying to look at a practical solution. You know, what will work for your school is based on some certain things that are available in your school. So when we call your school, and then we're trying to help you out with how to set up a learning environment, what is available in your learning institution. So first of all, I've established the fact that learning is a learning system that involves the combination of the face-to-face, the physical learning where students are in a classroom and they are with you, they're learning, you talking and they can hear you, the physical interaction, all of that, and also the online, all right, which happens when they are outside the classroom. The truth and reality is the fact that learning does not need to start in the classroom. Learning doesn't have to start in the classroom. Learning can start at home. Learning can happen anywhere. And that
Anyway,
brings us to the idea of synchronous and asynchronous learning. Learning can happen anywhere. During the summer training we had in August, we had some participants that they couldn't join us for the Zoom session in the morning. And so all they could do was, at their convenience in the evening, they log into YouTube and check the training sessions. Whatever happened during the seminar, they had access to it. That's asynchronous. So for the fact that they were able to join us virtually online, synchronously, doesn't deprive them of access to the entire content. So learning can happen anywhere, it can happen anytime. That's the reality. All right, so we need to be flexible and want to embrace this reality of learning. I know we have been used to this system for a very long time, and here is a change that comes to us. Okay, and it's like, wow, how is it going to look like? Well, we have to just embrace it. We have to just embrace it. Change. Change comes, it comes in. The world has evolved, has been evolving over and over and over time. Many things are coming to play. Mr. Debo, please, how many minutes do I have more? So I don't put my time given.
you can still talk for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, sir.
Five, 5 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so learning doesn't have to start in the classroom. Learning can start at home for the learners, for every category, for elementary, for middle school, for high school. Learning can start at home. It all depends on the system. All right. The system can be created that makes that possible. And that is the blended learning system. That's the BLS. That's the way it works. All right. And then first of all, every school has to understand this reality, embrace the reality, and then we'll talk about training the school management, training the educators, and also training the parents. Because when it comes to blended learning, for it to be successful, we have the parents, the entire school community is involved, which comprises of the parents, the educators, and the learners.
Yes,
We need
you're
to
right,
train
sir.
the parents on certain things they need to know. We need to let the parents understand some certain terms, some certain tools and techniques. All right. The parents have to be involved. That is the thing with learning system. Well, from our research, we look into a lot of countries. One of the countries that has the best education now is Finland. And this is one thing the Finland National Agency for Education. That's one of the things that was said in one of their latest publications. Parents have a strong role to play. They have a strong role to play. Parents need to be likely involved in this now. All right, so schools have to liaise and discuss with parents because they have a critical role to play. That is the new system now. That is the way it has to be. All right, if that is not in place, learning will not be successful anymore. It's not just about the teacher and the learners, it's about the parent first of all, and then we'll come to the teachers, the school management, and then to the learners. But once the parents have been sensitized, they have been trained, and they know what they are supposed to do, the part they are supposed to play, and then we can talk about coming to the school, training the teachers, letting them understand the techniques, exposing them to the tools that makes it work, helping them to understand how to create content, how to prepare a lot of things in the class, how to use learning management systems to interact with learners, and a whole lot of other things they need to know and they need to, and from there, the teachers will now be responsible to engage the learners and train them on what they need to do on their own part. So the entire community has to be trained on things for this to be successful. And this is basically what learning looks like. Learning doesn't have to start in the classroom. Learning can start at home. It can happen anywhere. It can happen
Anyway,
anywhere. That is the reality, and and the value and advantage of a blended learning system. And this is what we have happening in the developed countries. The kids are used to not learning only in school. The kids are used to the fact that they can learn anywhere. And that's why when you see those boys, reading robots and all of that, that happens at home. You understand? Even before they come to the classroom. All right. So They are used to learning everywhere. They are used to learning everywhere.
everywhere.
There's this mentality we have in some quarters that learning only has to do with the physical classroom. So the kids only think of learning anytime they wear their school uniform and they carry their
Yeah.
bag and they're going to school. That's when they think of learning. That's when it comes to them that yes, I'm going to school to learn. No, that is wrong. That is wrong. Learning can happen anywhere. I don't
Anyway.
need a school uniform to learn. I don't need a school uniform. I don't need to carry a school bag because learning doesn't have to do with the physical. All right. Learning is something that can happen anywhere, anytime.
Anywhere.
All right. Learning can start at home, and then even in the school environment, in the physical classroom. What you now have is the fact that we talk about adapting the classes. We talk about discussing open minds. Having trying to discover the gaps. Do you know it is possible that even before the learners come to the class, all the materials they have to work with on the class, you have created interactive videos
Yes, you're
that
right, sir.
summarizes the entire class content. Everything you want to teach for the entire week can be summarized in micro lessons. We call them micro lessons. Just do like 3 to 4 micro lessons, 5 minutes. You have summarized the entire class for the entire week, and you drop it in elements, and the learners assess it before they come to the classroom. They interact with the content. They understand what you're talking about, and because they are informed, when they come to the classroom, they want to be involved. When they are informed, they want to be involved in the classroom. Everyone wants to come and
Yes.
share their learning experience. Hello, sir, I came across this, I came across that. I sir, in the interactive flag you sent to me, I tried to answer the question. The class is interactive and it's lively. You understand? That is the reality, of learning.
No,
And
thank you.
every school needs to adopt this. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adebayo Alomaja. I know if you are given more time, you have more to say. I really appreciate your time on this special session. I believe in every bit of the points you have raised. Every bit of the points you have raised, I believe in it. And I also hope that our listeners and viewers are taking note of the points. Just as you have said, the entire community needs to be sensitized. Not only teachers or learners, needs to be even parents need to be sensitized. And that is also the essence of having our school owners on this platform to know what is obtainable. Thank you so much. Right now, we are going to be having another facilitator or speaker to uh, talk about the benefits of blended learning. The benefits of blended learning. Mr. Alomaja has done a great job on the concepts of blended learning. Of course, learning does not have to take place in the four walls of a classroom. It can happen anywhere. It can take place anywhere. Thank you so much. Uh, right now, we are going to have Mr. Olani. Mr. Olani. Mr. Olani, hello.
I'm here. If you can hear me, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Can you
good
hear
evening, sir.
me? Oh, great,
Good,
great.
good to have you again, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on the
you're
platform.
looking good.
Oh, thank you.
I must confess, I think working from home is indeed fantastic. I,
Absolutely.
I, I want to believe it is reducing the stress compared to
You're
the
right.
previous approach.
You're right. Absolutely. You're
All right,
absolutely.
thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so
You're
much for the
welcome, sir.
compliment. Thank you for having me. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone. Good evening.
yeah,
Good
you're
word.
welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. So we are looking at affordable blended learning models for schools. That is the topic of discussion, affordable blended learning models for schools. So it's going to be a great privilege to have you discuss the benefits of blended learning. You are used to this. You are used to this, and you understand. Yes, you understand. You have worth of experience as far as blended learning is concerned. So, can we hear from you, sir? What do you
Oh,
think could be the benefits of blended learning?
all right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate to be here. I really appreciate this platform. Thank the leadership of this organization, EAZY-DIGI EdTech Solutions. Celebrate you, and I know we are going places.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
sir.
the
Thank you, sir.
privilege. Yes. To the question, without wasting the time tonight, I think it is the reality of the present day society, the reality that has come to stay.
Mm.
It's going nowhere. So if you're there, you're still thinking it's for a while to go back. The same way your phone did not go, or telephone, the use of telephone did not go, in
Mm.
the same way that this blended learning um,
Models.
models will continue to advance. And
Mm.
it will amaze you to know the level of discovery that has been made between March and up to this time. And you want to ask yourself, like, I mean, were these people waiting for pandemic to start before? I mean, were they prepared for this pandemic before?
Repairable.
You need to
Mm-hmm.
see the array, the list of models, tools that are currently available for our use. You'll be surprised because you'll be asking yourself, like, mean, where are these things coming from? I mean, before this time, I only knew of Zoom, but
Mm.
you need to know the number of online such I mean
Tools.
tools, conference tools, video and audio, like seminars to give seminars, trainings, and all of these things that are available now. Now, going
Mm.
to your question, blended learning. I want to paint a picture. It's unfortunate I won't be able to share my screen to show you one or two pictures, but I want to create a picture, like a picture in the mind of our listeners.
All right, fine.
Now we all have a blender in our house. Now the one we use to blend tomatoes, pepper, and all of these things.
Mm.
It is advisable medically that if you want to have a good and healthy lifestyle, it's good to mix varieties of fruits, cashew, apple, orange, um, ginger, lemon. I mean, mix all of these things together, blend them together, and drink. It has been proven that you have a very good and fantastic life. So having the real life situation, I mean, going to education now, having the real life face to face education mixed with an online education, whereby you have a variety of easy to use models and tools that will help you drive home your point without stress,
Mm.
that will help you achieve the same desired goal you would have achieved in the traditional classroom situation, but in a simpler, less stressful, less expensive, and affordable way. So there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that are embedded into the benefit of the blended learning situation, learning platform, learning idea. You understand? Now, first is the flexibility. It's super flexible. You have it enables 24 hours learning. You can learn. I've been online since morning. I've been teaching on since morning. I just got
Mhm.
off my class. Sometimes I put my students in breakout rooms on Zoom. I give them tasks to do, pair them in two or in threes to go and
Wow.
get start. So I put them into discussion rooms. I give them tasks to do. They go, they discuss, and it engages the students.
Wow.
Now, one of the very important things our teachers should know, our school owners should know about the 21st century student is that they are interested in the WH questions.
Mm-hmm.
How how are they going to learn? What
Mm-hmm.
they are learning,
Yes.
where they are learning, why they are learning. Now,
Mm.
this WH question is very important, or are very important for the 21st century students, and they are interested. And for you to bring it about, to drive it home, you simply need, or the only thing you need, and that I know, as far as I'm concerned, is a blended learning material, tools, models,
Mm.
and an organization that can give it to you at the very best. I mean, I can give to you the very best seminar, training, and all of these things to have a worthy result. Now, let's go
Wow.
back to what is blended learning. I don't want to go stress you with this definition of blended learning. I'm just want to talk about the benefits. But it is, the combining of appropriate learning components. Now, it's good. You can actually combine components if you don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
combining the appropriate learning components to achieve a desired learning goals. And this is what we are doing here. So it is less expensive. I've talked about the flexibility. It is super, super duper less expensive
Mm-hmm.
because you can reuse the documents, the materials, the PowerPoint presentations, the learning, the instructional materials, the learning materials you've developed. You can reuse it. It saves your money from all these what's it called, A4 paper, printer. Today the printer is not working, tomorrow the printer has developed another
Mm-hmm.
four. You need to get A4 papers, you need to get ribbon, this stress of the technicalities in getting this office work done.
Yes, you're right, sir.
So with your online platform, you can actually achieve everything and reuse the documents and put them
Mm.
into use after the time. It reduces time, doesn't waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, It's I don't know, I know it's cost efficient. It's very effective. If you want to ask, I mean, some people will be thinking, is it really effective? Like in the real life situation, I tell you, it is super. It's effective, like super
Effective
effective
and efficient.
and efficient. It is
Thank you,
like
sir.
super duper effective and efficient. So
Wow.
you just need to try it. So there are a lot of benefits, attached to this beautiful, concept that we all have to adopt. The earlier, the better.
Wow.
And the more we delay, the more new development comes, and people with initiative that want to take over the whole industry will do that, taking away our clients, our customers, our students, and all of those things.
I
You
love
know,
this.
they
Wow.
rule the market space for us. So it is important
Mm.
that we all take advantage of this thing. It has come to stay. It's not going anywhere. It is. It is just the new trend.
Mm.
Thank you
Wow.
so much, Mr. Debo.
That's great.
I
That's
don't know.
great.
I don't know if I answered your questions anymore.
Yeah, yes, you have really done justice to the questions. Uh, I can reiterate your points. Yeah, you said it is flexible. You talk about flexibility. It is less expensive. It reduces time. Then it is effective and efficient. Uh, am I correct, sir?
Absolutely, you're right.
All right, all right, all right.
You're right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I will also re-emphasize this point. You mentioned the fact that students are interested in WH questions when it comes to learning. What are they going to learn? How
Yeah.
are they going to learn? Where are they going to learn? And when are they going to learn?
And they
All
are
this
interested. Yeah, they are super interested in wanting to have a say in all of these things.
in all of these
They want to
things.
be, yeah, they want to be engaged. They want to be involved, and you can only get this involvement online. Like you
Of
get them
course.
involved, you show them pictures. We are not used, like in Nigeria. I don't know. There's a decadence in the structure that instructional materials are not being are not well emphasized. I don't know,
Mm,
but with this model, blended learning, you can just go to the internet and pick materials, pick
Materials.
videos, pick pictures, and show your students to lead them in into the lesson. Create a context for them. Engage them with ICQ, instructional concept questions, CCQ,
Question.
concept checking questions. There are a lot of things you engage them with when you are online. So it's super amazing. It's super great, and I think we all should adopt it.
So wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Kuforola.
Well,
We would have loved to continue in this session, but due to time constraints,
I
we may
understand.
not be able to further on this discussion. But I want to believe our listeners and viewers have been able to take notes. They have taken note of one or two points from what you have said on the benefits of blended learning. Thank you so much, Mr. Olaniyi. If need be, I will call you again. I
All
mean,
right.
soon. Oh, we are going to send an invitation to you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so
Totally
much,
anonymous.
sir.
Yeah. Thank you
Uh,
so much. Thanks for the privilege.
you're welcome, sir.
All right.
Enjoy yourself, sir. Enjoy
All
yourself,
right.
sir.
And you
My,
too. Thank
my
you so
regards to
much.
your students. All
All
right,
right.
sir. All right, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right, sir. All right, thank you, Mr. Olaniji. We are gradually proceeding towards the end of this session, and right now we are going to be having the last person. I mean, the last facilitator who is going to talk on uh, the last person we talk on the challenges of blended learning and the solutions, the challenges and the solutions. So whatever the problem is, of course, there must be a solution, or there must be solutions somewhere. We are going to welcome Mrs. Theresa on platform now. Mrs. Theresa, I guess Mrs. Theresa is
Good evening. Can you hear
trying
me?
to connect. Oh, fantastic. I can hear you very well.
All
Very
right.
well.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity. It's always such a pleasure to be engaging with colleagues on important matters such as this. So thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much for having me once again.
Thank you so much, madam. You are welcome. You are welcome. It's a
Awesome stuff.
privilege. It's a privilege to have you again. It's a
It's a privilege
privilege.
to be here. It's such a privilege to be here.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Am
you
I
so much.
visible now?
Yes, you are.
Ah, perfect. Perfect.
You,
Thank you so much.
you're visible. More
Ah,
visible.
I'm visible. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. All right. Uh,
I'd like to, yes.
yes. I am very sure you are familiar with the topic of discussion this evening.
Hmm.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
All
I
right.
am.
All right.
I've listened to my previous esteemed colleagues, and they've added so much. And I think what I can bring to the discussion is just a little bit of the experience that I've already had with the blended learning system.
Mm,
So, shall I jump right into it? Do you have a
of
question?
course. Of course. Of course. You can delve into it immediately.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who is tuned in and who is listening to us. I think this evening I would like to speak to the biggest challenge that we have with blended learning, and that is,
Yes.
of course, with the people that have to deliver the blended learning. So I think what I'm going to speak to is our challenge that we have with our educators, our challenge that we have with parents, because these are the stakeholders that will help us to deliver the blended learning in the manner that we envisage. So I think if we
Mm,
take a look at our unique situations and how there are different circumstances for each of the schools that we are speaking to, we understand that the challenges are not only financial, but the challenges are larger than just this. If it was not for the pandemic, I think the same situation that we have now would also play itself out. I want to agree with Mr. Olani that, if we look at the pandemic, it was there. But besides the pandemic, the world is progressing at such an alarming rate that we cannot allow ourselves to be left behind. So the challenge about educators and parents is one that we are going to have to overcome. If we take a look at our educators, especially, that is one of the things that I'd like to touch on. We now have a need to educate our educators, because they are going to be the one that have to cascade the model that we are proposing. Now, if we take a look at traditional education, we are so used to everything coming from the top down. Traditionally, it was the institutions that were responsible for bringing the content to the learners. If we take a look at what is happening now, things are no longer top down. Things are now, it's like the playing ground has been leveled. Education now no longer lies in the hands of formal training institutions only. Education now lies in the hands of each one who has access to the internet. And I think if we take a look at the statistics that I've also recently shared in one of the trainings, if we look at Nigeria especially, so much has happened as far as technology is concerned, and as far as accessing technology, that we no longer have an excuse to say that we cannot move towards a different program. So I think we are going to have to take a look at how exactly are we going to bring our educators on board. Our challenge is going to be to work with teachers' philosophies. If as a teacher, you have the philosophy of bringing your knowledge to the classroom, then that is something that we are going to have to work with. Because now we're going to have to understand that as educators, we now are only facilitators. We now simply have to make sure that we take our learners and that we are in between the knowledge, the skills that they need to contain, and our learners. So the blended learning also needs a blended teacher. In order for you to become a blended teacher, you are going to have to become a lifelong learner. So a lot of us have been educated in the old system. I am one of them. I can attest to that. So a change needs to come in how we approach our learning as well. And I think this speaks to the second challenge. We need to take a look at our attitude towards teaching and our attitude towards learning. So a change also needs to come in the way we approach how this needs to envision itself in the classroom. So if we take a look at how informal educational circumstances, the teacher has the authority. The teacher determines the required knowledge. The teacher uses the curriculum, and the curriculum with a body of knowledge needs to be cascaded to the students. There's nothing wrong with that system. But what we are suggesting right now is that a change needs to come, because learners now also have access to the same kind of knowledge, the same kind of content, the same kind of information that we have. So if we work on changing our mindsets, if we work on changing our approaches to learning, our approaches to teaching, then one of the problems that may present itself is definitely going to be met. Indeed, learning has become ubiquitous. It can happen anywhere, it can happen everywhere, it can happen anytime, it can happen in any way. So the blended model that we are suggesting, the easy solutions that are being provided by EAZY-DIGI solutions, if we don't allow ourselves to have access to this, or if we don't allow ourselves to even just find out about what it is out there, then we definitely are going to be left behind. So when I speak to challenges this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to make sure that we understand that for every problem that there is out there is a solution. And if we take a look at this platform and we take a look at the people that are driving this initiative, there are wonderful, wonderful opportunities for us to bring people on board. If we create communities, that is a solution. If we have limited access, there is a solution. If we have limited expertise, there is a solution. So even if we speak to parents at this point, my previous colleague has also made a note of this. Our parents are essential. If we get our parents on board and we have our parents understand how change has happened in education and how much more education is going to change in the future, if we have them buy in on our idea of having education blended, if we can take them away from the traditional way, because we are going to have parents who won't understand this, we are going to have parents who will oppose this, we maybe even may have educators who may oppose this. But I think if we form these communities like the EAZY-DIGI community has been formed, then we will provide solutions for those people who even manage to bring up most of the challenges like I have mentioned. So I would like to encourage our educators out there. I would like to encourage our school leaders. If there are parents who are listening in, if there are teachers who are listening in this evening, I would like to encourage you to think about the three things that I've mentioned. Think about, first of all, your philosophy. What is your approach to teaching? What is your approach to learning? How should this happen? Because that is instrumental. If you still clung to the old way, traditional way of doing things, I think then we have to do some work there. I'd also like to speak about attitude. We need to take a look at how do we approach our own learning? Are we open to growth? Do we have the kind of mindset that will allow us to see the benefit of change? Because then definitely we will be able to work with. And then lastly, I think if we consider our learners need to be able to compete worldwide. If we want them to be able to compete on an international level, then we also need to be able to work on international levels with them. So whatever is happening on the platforms out there, we need to access. And when we do that, we will allow our learners to also become a part of that global community. The 21st century learner is not one that just takes in and is spoon-fed information. The 21st century learner is one that is going to allow his knowledge and skills to become helpful not only for himself but for the community at large and also for the world that we are working in. So these are the reasons why we are driving this initiative. This is why I've become a part of this, because I do believe that the time has come for us to be part of the change that has been happening even before the pandemic. So yeah, that is all that I have for you this evening. I hope that I've touched on some of the issues that we're definitely facing as a result of the changes that are happening. And like my other colleagues, I am open to discussion and I'm open to questions as well. Thank you so much, sir. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Rosa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. So a lot. One of the things you said that I'd like to reiterate is the fact that blended learning needs a blended teacher.
Mhm.
So as a teacher, if I am not blended, I cannot run. I cannot work in a blended learning environment. Thank you so much for that point. Yeah, it's one of the key words for me in this session right now. All right. Thank you so much for iterating those challenges and the solutions. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for exposing us to these realities and to the solutions. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for hanging around with us. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So bye for now. All right, great. So want to say a big thank you to everyone that has stayed with us, connected with us this far. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time. Thank you for being a part of today's session. A lot has been said tonight. A lot has been said, and then to break it down to what we're currently doing now is that we are we are working as virtual learning managers to help schools to set up a learning environment, right? And for the schools we are concerned for, when we come around, the first thing we do is that we run a test on the learning environment, we run a test on the classroom community, and also on the school community. The classroom community has to do with the teachers and the learners, and the school community has to do with the parents, the school management, the teachers, and the learners. So we run a test on the entire environment to see what is available, to see what is there, to see the way things have been done before now. And when we run the test and we see what is available and available, right? Okay, so we see the level of the teachers in terms of digital literacy, and then we can then go ahead, all right, and discuss with you on the blended learning model that will work for your school. Okay, we'll show you a variety of options, and then based on the model you decide to adopt for your school, then we train your parents, all right, to comply with that model. So we train the parents to understand their roles, okay, in achieving the blended learning model that you have decided to adopt based on what we have suggested to you from the test you have carried out on your school. And once the parents are trained on their part, on their role, because they are going to be largely involved, all right, in this time around. And once the parents are trained on their role and on their part, and they know that and they are ready, then we come to training the teachers. Right, we come training the teachers. So training your parents is free. The first training we have with the teachers, all right, is going to be free on WhatsApp. We just discuss with them on WhatsApp to let them know what they need to do for the training. That's also free. And also we'll consult them with us throughout the entire thing. That's also free. What you pay for is the teachers training. By the time we run the test on environment, we draw a schedule for the teachers training. All right, okay, which is usually happens to be like 8 sessions. All right, we need like 8 sessions to train your teachers entirely on what they need to, to set up a learning environment and to make it running. Once we have, that's what you pay for. That's what you pay for. All right. So, once we do that, you are ready. You're good to go. You're good to go. You're good to go. So, for more information, I'm going to drop. Our website on the chat room, so you can check the chat room, and you can, visit our website for more information. And then we are open to can easily reach us too. You can easily just reach us on WhatsApp through a chat. You can just you can hook up with this number I'll put on the screen now, 081-4897-6290. Right. So you can hook up with this number, and then you can have a chat. You can hook up with this number, we can have a chat. Yeah, so EAZY-DIGI just WordPress.com, you can visit our website for more information. And then aside from that too, you can also hook up with us. Just send a chat to that number on your screen, 08148976090. So we can discuss further. We can, work at setting you up for a blended environment. All right, the time to do that is now. The time to do that is now. Is now. The earlier the better. All right, so we do hope to hear from you. We do hope to connect with as many schools that are out there. All right, and rest assured, it's affordable. All right, every big school in quotes today started from somewhere, so you can begin to prepare, all right, for the reality of the school of the future. Okay, even from now, every school should be thinking about building a school of the future. Think about sustainability. Will your school be able to withstand the test of time, even in the nearest future? You have to start creating a foundation for a school of the future, even from now. That's what we're talking about. And the way to go is learning. Learning is the future of education. It is the future of education. You have to lay a foundation to prepare your school to be a school of the future, because the future is going to be entirely new. All right, there's going to be strong emphasis on the digital into a season of of global digitalization. And as a school, you should be ready for that. You should be ready for that. So please, people to reach out to us. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to connect with you. We'd like to have your school in our community, all right, so that we can, give you all of the stuff that we have to offer. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us tonight. Big thank you to our facilitators, moderator, Mr. Ekini, thank you so much. To the panelists, Mr. Lani from Turkey, thank you. Mr. Reza from UAE, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone. Was many that are probably unable to hook up with us. It's on YouTube. You can log in, you can check in the video, and you can go through the entire content. Thank you so much, and we hope to hear from you very soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now. We'll see you later. Thank you so much.